This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
I love what she does and how she helps us realize many different things. Transformation in your life comes from that. Life moves forward through counseling and psychotherapy. But the other side of her is grief recovery, specifically grief recovery method of which she practices. We are going to talk about that today, but hold on a moment. We're not referring to just the grief that you experience when somebody that you're close to passes on. We're talking about loss. That essentially, in my view, is grief, the loss of something. You could have many different types of loss in your life that you're grieving and may not even realize that. So we're going to dig into that. So great to have her back with us. Fiona Mitten is on the program. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How are you today?
Fantastic. And I believe this kind of spawned from something we said a while back where I had this thought that we're all grieving. We may not realize it, but we have things that we're grieving from. We bury it inside and we just keep moving forward, but it's always going to be there and potentially it's going to be holding us back. Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. So when we think about loss versus grief, which is the same thing, we lose trust in people, right? Like we lose trust in ourselves sometimes. I even doubt my own my thinking. If I've made a bad choice
Mm.
in life and then I all of a sudden I don't trust my choices anymore, right? Like sometimes it's not even about other people or so when I lost use of my when I use um lose the use of my legs, I gain loss of my wheels or I gain my wheels, but then everything is more difficult. So but we lose lots of faith, we lose lots of trust, we lose friendships, we lose
Mm.
that's that whole are you here for a day or a week or an eternity, like all of those things, it's all different. And do we actually look at losses as grief? Most people don't. Truly it is.
Um, I had it all there in terms of, thinking of what loss can be, loss of a relationship, loss of a job, loved one passing, certainly.
Mhm.
I never considered loss of trust. Holy blank. That is a such a big one. And I don't know why I missed that.
Well, because we don't, as people, we're like, well, we lose stuff all the time. I lost my watch. I lost we lost the keys. We lose, and it's just in everyday language that we lost something. We don't take it to an emotional state where we lose, like, so let's say somebody has cancer and they end up losing like so much weight and and we lose people when people get sick, whether it's no matter what the cause of it, there are people who stay, people who come, and people who are not able to function. So they kind of release themselves from your life, but that becomes a loss. People that you trust are all of a sudden not there anymore, right?
Mm.
It's the same as what, like through a divorce. You get married, everything is wonderful, honeymoon, la 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 la, everything's great. And then, uh-oh, brakes are on, someone's hurt my feelings. Now I don't trust them, or they went out and done something that they wouldn't have normally done. All of
Hmm.
a sudden, I don't trust you. How do you get that back? How do you regain that trust if you don't trust somebody?
Okay, well let's go there at even the divorce thing. It's big. Um,
Mhm.
there's a lot of loss there. Certainly the loss of the relationship, many times the loss of trust, loss of family, loss of friends because you had friends together. Now maybe some of those friends sided, on the other side. Um, loss of fun, doing fun things together. Your kids impacted, loss of their emotional stability because of, most divorces. We can keep going. And I'm not saying that to be
Mhm.
negative, but that's the reality of that one situation and how much loss is involved in that situation. It's not just loss of the relationship. Yeah, that's the big one, but all those other things that come from it. And potentially we could be grieving that the loss of those and holding that inside. And it's just like a better description, eating you up, maybe.
Mhm. It does eat us up.
Hmm.
And it's amazing to me. So if let's say somebody gets divorced, and because then we really all children when there's a divorce or a breakup would be well advised to go talk to somebody about how they feel. Because most times kids blame themselves for parents falling apart at the waysides when really it has nothing to do with them, but they tend to blame themselves the most, right? So there's the innocent party being affected. They, as children, don't trust their parents because their parents are supposed to be these people that they can always go to and that they're always a team and that they're always like we raised them that way. And then all of a
Yep.
sudden that's gone. So it's amazing to me how divorce or breakups affect not just the parties that are in it, but everyone around them. It's like you said, well, some friends will take this side, some friends will take that side, right?
Yeah.
So when we do the grief recovery of that with relationships or divorce, we simply take it one relationship at a time, right? Like I will talk with somebody and we'll say which on this loss graph from your divorce is the most painful relationship, right? And then we just deal with that one relationship at a time and that one loss, whether it be of trust for your children, like it doesn't, we let people off the hook most of the time in our life. Because we're trained that way. I think in society we're trained to just let people off the hook. So let's say I had a beautiful mom, but let's say my mom was mad and she was cruel to me and she's now dead. My mom is dead. So let's say I'm still mad at her for hurting me,
Mm.
right? For breaking my trust or my belief in her. And she's dead. And I want to be mad at her, but why? Who's hurting? She's not here anymore. So that resentment and that bitterness and that all that loss and anger and it stays in me,
It's
which is
unresolved.
dumb because she's dead. She's
Yep.
not worrying about it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And even people who have done you wrong and you're still angry at them, I don't care. They already
They
moved
don't
on.
care.
They're not thinking about it. They're taking up space in your mind. Um, and you could confront them, but it's going to go nowhere. There was
Right.
so many times in situations where just I'm a text. I just want to send a text. You got to let it go. But you gotta process it and the
Right.
feelings. Otherwise, there's not going to be any forward movement in your life.
It's like the
Uh,
birds on the fence,
yeah.
right? If we can talk all day long, if there's no action behind the words, there's nothing, right? There's no change, there's no growth, there's no anything. If we just make a decision but don't follow it up by action, it's pointless. It's also the same as knowledge. Like knowledge is a wonderful tool. I have lots of knowledge, but if I don't share it and if I don't use it,
Yep.
being knowledgeable is pointless,
Exactly.
right?
How do we process the loss, no matter what it is? It could be a job. It could be so many different things. Now, you said identifying it, and in the divorce situation, let's say putting it into priority order.
Mhm.
Um, is it writing it down and having starting point of
Absolutely.
processing it?
We need to. So what I do is we start with the first dawn of conscious memory. We make that loss graph for every time we've been hurt in our lives. Every time I've been affected,
Hmm.
I write that loss. And at some point, when we get through the process of uh, the loss graph, we choose which part of that loss is the most affected, and that's the one relationship we work with, start to finish. Takes 7 weeks. It's not complicated. Well, it can be very deep and complicated and painful. 7 weeks, however, is a very short span to be able to deal with all of that pain, and at the end have it gone. Like, it's now gone.
Mm.
And it's the most amazing process I have ever experienced in my life. Yeah.
Wow. 7 weeks?
Yeah. 7 weeks, start to finish.
What's going on with the 7 weeks? Why is it? I'm not even sure. Like they say, to form a better habit, some people say 21 days, some people say 90 days, 7 weeks. What's up?
7 weeks is just the amount of time. So we do the loss graph, and we talk about the short emotional, so the stirs we call them, shopping, smoking, drinking, overworking, like the addictions, right? The things we do to fill that hole that's caused by grief or trauma, or so we deal with them, and we look at what ones have people practiced. Me being an alcoholic, I practice everything. I'm a workaholic, I'm a shopaholic, I'm an eataholic, I'm an everything-aholic. And there's lots of people that are like that. But then there are also very normal people who may only shop too much or eat when they're sad, right? Like when you're a little kid and you come home from school and somebody was mean to you on the playground, and your feelings are hurt, and you come in the house and you look at and you're crying, and your mom asks what's the matter, and your grandma's there and she asks what's the matter, and you say, somebody hurt my feelings today, and grandma says, oh, that's okay, let's give you a cookie. Let's give you a cookie, see if that helps you feel better, and just, it's okay, right? So we all, and grandmas do that. Here, have a cookie. It'll make you feel better, right?
Spot on. And I can,
Right.
and to illustrate your point, it's come up a lot today, but I was a larger child and got bullied, and very impactful, and through hypnotherapy realized a lot of things. But to your point, I would come home, yeah, they beat me up on the playground again. It's like, and grandma or mom, well, have a Hostess Twinkie, have this. So all good, felt better, but all that did was make me bigger.
Short term, short
Short
term,
term. Yes.
right?
Yeah. 100,000%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know
And
what's,
that's where it all starts.
I'm going to share because this stuff just pops in my head. And that's your superpower where you inspire thought. I replaced the food with what I'm doing right now. I was larger, then got to high school, lost a little bit of weight, but was still kind of, I hated this word, husky, but I was. Until 11th, excuse me, or 12th grade, I got involved in making videos and productions in school. And it's like, this is fantastic. I would go to school and stay there all day until 10 o'clock at night, editing stuff, and then go back to school the next day. I didn't have time to eat. I replaced that with doing this kind of stuff. And life began career wise. But I replaced it. I like literally did. Like I didn't have time to eat because I was having too much fun doing this. But is that typically what can happen when somebody's, call it, addicted or gravitate towards something that after a while is not good for you, no matter what it is? Replacing it with something else?
Mm-hmm. We would replace everything. There's nothing, we're always looking to fill that. So what I do is I actually just I heal broken hearts. My career is to heal broken hearts, because we all have a broken heart. Somewhere in there, someone has harmed us, hurt us, whether it's been someone else or ourselves. I mean, most of mine was myself, because I kept hurting myself. Every time I did something like you, replace it, replace it, replace it. And I kept damaging. And so when I stopped damaging and able to, because what I do to fill my hole now is I heal broken hearts. So I get to experience other people's lives, and I get to feel fulfillment through helping other people. So it doesn't matter what we do or how we do it. If we do it in excess, we're doing it to fill something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
In excess.
Anything
Interesting.
to excess. Doesn't matter what it is. Reading. I mean, I know people can sit down and they once they get a book, is they don't do nothing for 2 days till the book's done. Right? I know people that sit down and watch TV and they do it for 12 hours that day. Right? Like once you start something and you do it to excess without balance, that's
Oh,
it.
maybe it's obvious, but I never thought of it that way, but so true. It doesn't matter what it is, alcohol. Have a beer. Enjoy that. But what happens if you enjoy three or 10 or five, whatever,
Or
whatever,
a case,
a
a
case
case or a
every
flat.
day. Exactly. Same thing with cigarettes. Truth
Yep.
be told, I could be hanging out somewhere. I don't smoke, never did. Friends puffing on a cigarette. I was like, I'll take let me grab one once every 5 years. But okay, but then if it's more than that, then same thing
Mhm.
with for everything in excess
Yep.
is where the challenge comes in. Hmm.
Yep. So my job is to heal a heart so we can find balance and simply live in that state where things are not in excess. People can exercise for an hour a day instead of versus like 6 hours a day, or they can work for 8 hours instead of 16 hours. Like it's about finding balance and having the journey not be as complicated as we tend to make it, just as
So
people.
we identified that we're all grieving from something or some things.
Mhm.
And you said before that we have all of us have a broken heart. Did I hear that right?
Mhm. Yep.
Hmm. Could it be from the loss of something, or the broken heart is could be something else, not that?
I think it's like I think the broken heart comes from compounding grief that we've not dealt with, like the backpack. It's
Hmm.
it's like we talked about the backpack and we put the rocks in, we put the rocks in,
Yeah.
and there's gonna at some point be something that breaks that camel's back. For me, it was the loss of my mom, right? That was the one thing. Like I had lost lots of people, but my mom was my best friend, my absolute best friend all my life. And when she was gone, I was just lost. And it literally felt like I had lost an appendage. Like it felt like it was that extreme for me. Like it felt like I lost my arm or and she was the most beautiful person. And when even now when I think about her, she's been gone for 5 years and I can still be sad. I found amazingly, I was going through some stuff that we had in storage for my mom, and I found my grandma's eulogy, like my mom's eulogy. And I read it, and my grandma's been gone, I don't know, I was 16, I'm 53, like in a week,
We
like it's a
living the
long
same
time.
life here. This
I
is the
don't know.
weirdest. My grandmother passed around the same time, and my mother passed around the same time.
Hmm.
That is wow. Like
Is it odd or is it God?
I
Right?
and
That's
it's
the question I ask all the time.
even the passing of my grandmother. She was in the hospital for a little time. Um, but everything surrounding that, I still remember it vividly. I was a teenager. Um, yeah, it's, I don't think we cut ourselves enough slack for the grieving that we're doing. When I think about it, if I think of my grandmother, I probably get sad. Then I think back to, when I was a kid and I'd be on her lap and she used to just like pet my head and it's like, best sleep ever. Those little things or, when she used to make me, I love chocolate shakes and then she's like, put an egg in that. I'm like, I don't want an egg in it. And she would do it anyway. Like the little things like that. Um, there's grief in there. Well, how do we process that? How do we unload that?
We start at the beginning. Literally, we start at the beginning. When I read her eulogy that my cousin wrote, um, I read it and I got to the last paragraph and I started, I mean, she's been gone for so many, she'd be like 150. I'm just kidding, but she'd be very old. She died in 96. Like she was old.
Mm.
And I couldn't believe when I read that eulogy last night. Like it brought me to tears. I'm like, I
Mm.
miss grandma. Like I miss sleeping in her bed. I miss
Yeah.
having like she would put her teeth in the little glass of water by her bed. Right? And right,
Wow.
if you miss that, right? As silly as that is, it's those thoughts. And I'm like, we as people do not give we worry about grief and loss. We do not give credence to all the amazing memories that people have put in our hearts and in our minds.
Yeah.
They leave lasting effects on us, whether good, bad, or indifferent. So no matter what those feelings are, they need to be talked about and shared. And if it's all great feelings, that's awesome. Then that helps heal that heart, that wounded. So I don't want to say we have a broken heart, but we have a wounded heart. Our hearts can just simply be wounded. And we need people like me, like you, who have experienced things in life to be able to just help that wounded heart heal, right?
Mm.
Just listen. Just listen.
Is it important to write it down? Sometimes you can't talk with anybody. Sometimes you feel funny, even about, talking about your grandmother's teeth in a glass. What a memory. I got you. Uh, and as a kid, you'd be like, "Ooh, look at that. Ooh." Now I look back, it's like, oh, poor grandma, that she had to do that. And but it's all good. But would it be impactful to write that stuff down?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Writing it down is a must. It's an absolute must, 100%.
I want to tell you, Fiona, you opened my eyes to that. Like I want to right now go to my journal and write this stuff down. These silly, goofy memories. It's almost like you're writing it down and you're gonna send it to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll hear it, maybe they won't. But what a cool and what a beautiful thing for yourself and as a memory of that person that's no longer here.
Yeah.
Mm. But also even processing the other stuff that we go through, in terms of loss and all of that. Um, Great conversation today. Wow. Very interesting.
I want to say the beauty of what I do is that I allow people who have had awful relationships along their life
Yep.
to be able to see that not all of it was bad. Like there's a little bit of good in the worst of us, and there's a little bit of great in a little bit of bad in the best of us, right?
100%. Sometimes hard to admit if a relationship went bad, but you were in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship because there was good.
Right? You
Don't
fell in
for,
love with something.
don't forget it. What's your website?
Uh, www.freedomonline.online, and then I don't know.
I think
I'm
I
having
have
enough at
Fiona's
info
like
at. Oh
I have a
no, that's Fiona's Fight. That's my book. That's the title of my book. So my
okay.
website is www.fffreedom.online, and
Gotcha.
then my email is info@fffreedom.online.
Got it. FFFreedom.online. Thank you for today.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. Good stuff.
You bet.
Yep.
See you next week.
You got it.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.